We are living in fear in Lesotho. People are tortured and detained without trial. I think SADC is not doing enough to remedy the situation. Sabelo Jola says they must make sure that they investigate who killed Mr. Mahau. After they find them, send them to jail. Mahuta Molobedi says the problem is that the problem that has escalated in Lesotho can only be resolved if both the government and the opposition parties are ready to sit down and discuss matters affecting the security concerns in that country, and also taking notice that the hatred is spilling over to the people, the supporters of the government and the opposition. Those are just some of the messages coming through on Facebook and on Twitter. Do keep them coming. We do welcome them. So when you do hear those comments, particularly the one about SADC not doing enough, would you concur with that view?
At the end of the day, when you see the situation that exists on the ground today, and given the fact that SADC has been engaged in this process since August of 2014, I believe that there's been insufficient movement on the key issues.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think that, one, because I think that when SADC first made its initial appraisal of the situation, it believed that the political impasse was of more significant importance than the security problems. And therefore, the focus was placed on trying to bring about a resolution of the political situation, which is what the elections were intended to resolve. It left aside the issue of the army, the manner in which the army has moved into the political arena, and the manner in which the army is influencing the political process in the country. And now the army, that with this newfound freedom of movement, is engaged in areas of Lesotho where the army does not need to be. And that, I think, is really one of the things that is contributing to the destability that we see right now.
So opposition parties recently urged citizens to go on a stay away from work. Did that work?
The stay away worked, yes and no. The stay away was more effective than the government would have wished, but not as effective as we as the opposition would have liked.
What does that mean?
I think it's symptomatic of the nature of Lesotho's politics. The people were very worried as to, if they came out and they showed their dissatisfaction by staying away from work, what repercussions they would face on the part of the government.
So not enough people stayed away?
Or not enough sectors of our economy stayed away. The taxi operators, the transport operators were threatened very openly by the government with action should they partake in this stay away.
So it wasn't a success?
No, it wasn't a resounding success. Okay. But what it did signal to us as the opposition is that as we conscientize the population on the issues, they will be more and more cooperative going forward. So we've understood, we've put the issue of stayaways on the table, and I am certain that future stayaways will be more successful than this one.
So you've had the U.S. threatening to withhold donations if this is not sorted out. Maybe other countries may follow suit. What do you make of that?
We appreciate the United States government coming out and making it clear that there has to be accountability for the events of the 30th of August 2014 and for other violations of human rights in Lesotho. If the Lesotho government, we think it's incumbent upon the Lesotho government simply to return to democratic norms. And if it does so, they have it within their own power to remove these threats. But we are happy that our friends around the world have supported us in saying that it's important for Lesotho to return to democratic and acceptable norms of behavior.
What more do you think needs to be done? Because we've already had the engagements, we've already had the interventions from SADC and also from South Africa. What more do you think needs to be done?
I think first and foremost, the Commission of Inquiry is about to begin its work. We need that Commission of Inquiry to be allowed to undertake its work to the full extent of the mandate that it's been given. We expect that those findings will be put on the table, they will be discussed in the correct context, and that the individuals identified by that process will be properly dealt with. And I think that will restore confidence in the fact that the rule of law is there in Lesotho and that everybody will be held accountable for their actions. We hope that in the quiet corridors where diplomacy is done, the Lesotho government will be encouraged to ensure that the findings of this commission of inquiry will be prosecutable in Lesotho, and the Lesotho government make an undertaking that those identified through this investigation process will be fully and properly investigated. And I believe that if that happens, then it will go a long way towards restoring public confidence in the rule of law in Lesotho, and it will create a basis for us to go forward as a country.
And what are you as the opposition undertaking to do?
We are committing to playing an effective role in that inquiry. We hope that the inquiry will be made public.
I mean, even beyond the inquiry,
well,
it takes two to tango.
Well,
You've got to come to the party.
We have never said that we are engaged in a process of seeking to destabilize the government. We want Lesotho to have a stable and steady government. We simply expect the government to behave in a manner consistent with what we understand to be the right way to do things. And if the government does that, then we will be an effective and loyal opposition, and we believe that the two of us together, working in that manner, will be good for the future of the country.
And it will be good for Southern Africa and the continent of Africa at large.
It will be good for the region as a whole.
Let's leave it there. Thank you very much for coming through to talk to us. And that's Joang Molapo, who is the Deputy Leader of the Basotho National Party. We leave it there for this week. We do welcome all of your thoughts on social media. From us, good night.